So I want to talk about this new homebrew game. It's called Silver Falls Battle Fever Galaxy Bound Curse. Okay, that's a lot to take out of my system. So this is a PSP homebrew game that you guys can play. But look, if you guys don't have a homebrew, that's okay. You can play on a RetroArch if you really want to anyhow. It's more like a spin-off game of Galaxy Bound Curse, which is based on the Game Boy game, which you can play on the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, the Game Boy fans, anything that's Game Boy related. But I haven't played that game through enough to justify my review, so I'm gonna have to hold that game off for the time being, but I will talk about this one. This is a horde shooter game, an open-ended game, by the way. It'll get some updates at some point. I just want to spread this around just to let you guys know that there's a new homebrew game for the PSP that you guys can play on. So with this one is that you can explore the main hub of the original game that came out on the Game Boy, which is pretty cool. You can interact with people, which isn't like the first spin-off game of the series of Galaxy Bound Curse. There was another one that came out on the Game Boy. It was just like all of this just like a music player, but it's still cool to see something different. But yeah, the Game Boy would have its own music player, which allows you to listen to soundtrack of Ghoul Busters, which is something that's nice to have. Maybe use your Game Boy as a Walkman or whatever. But anyways, this is a open-ended game, PSP exclusive homebrew game. The game kind of plays similarly to Guardians and Metal Exterminators, but except this is more of a horde game. So it's more like a survival game per se. It's not mission based or nothing. You go around, pick up weapons, you shoot enemies, and that's pretty much it. And that's it. That's really all I can really say about the gameplay. You just go around, you make sure you survive the best way you can. But you can go around interacting with some of the people that have something to do with Galaxy Bound Curse. But like I mentioned, Galaxy Bound Curse is a Game Boy game you guys can play, so it's a free download and the game is finished, which we are going to be getting ourselves a remake on Nintendo Switch, but I can't really say nothing else about it because I haven't played the game thoroughly to justify anything. But I think you guys will have fun playing this game. So you guys can go around and just shoot enemies all day long. It gives you a little something to do. The reason this game was really made in the first place because Sungrand Studios is in focus of making a RPG game called Breath of Thunder, which will be coming out on Nintendo Switch, Atari VCS, Steam, and other legacy homebrews that you guys can get, like the PS Vita, 3DS, PSP, etc. A Kickstarter will come out soon enough, but when the Kickstarter reaches the goals of which consoles will come in, I can't really promise that it's going to come out on every console, but there has been some requests like the Dreamcast, Atari Jaguar, Sega Saturn, anything else you could think of. But yeah, I've seen the game getting tested on the 3DS and the Vita as well, so yeah, it's a new series the dude is making, so thought I'd let you guys know ahead of time. But we are supposed to be getting Duck Season at some point, but due to so many games being developed from Sungrand Studios, it's going to take some time and effort just for these things to come out. So we're still be waiting for other Silver Falls games like Duck Season, which will be coming out on Nintendo Switch and also on the DS, which they're both going to be separate games in terms of Duck Season, but we'll also be getting the remastered version of Gaiden 3D's Deathly Delusion Destroyers, which also comes with Ruby River, which I've already talked about in the past, which is the last ever 3DS game, by the way, just to make things clear. It's a really fun one too, which I think you guys should get yourselves into in case you guys haven't played it. Look, there are alternative ways for you guys to play a game on 3DS, so it's not the end of the world. But I'll talk about the remaster whenever it comes out. So that's really all I can say about this. But we're also supposed to be getting Undertakers also coming to the Switch. It's more of a port of the 3DS and Wii U game, but with a brand new multiplayer mode. which I will also just go on to say in case you guys don't know. But the Wii U version of that game has all multiplayer, but this Switch one's gonna have a brand new one soon enough. But yeah, Battle Fever, it's a random homebrew game. You could say it was made out of thin air, but updates will come to the future whenever there's enough support when it comes to that game. I'll leave the link in the description below as to where you can guys get the game, so that way you guys can have fun playing it. You'll need a homebrew PSP system in order to play the game, so that's basically all I can say. But look, if you guys don't have a homebrew one, you can basically play this on RetroArch with no issues whatsoever. But yeah, just because this game just randomly came out, you think it would have issues running an emulation, but you don't. The game is all like scores too, like you can just shoot enemies so you get like the highest score possible. So that's basically what I can say about Battle Fever. A survival game where you shoot a bunch of enemies, repeat. It's just more like if you can get to beating a score. It's open-ended from what I can tell, but it is nice to like interact with the hub world from the original Game Boy game you guys could play. So look, Galaxy Bound Curse is free. This game is free. Some of these homebrew games are free. There's also another survival. There's also this survival game called Silver Falls Survive for the PS Vita, which I've already made a video talking about, which I definitely recommend you guys check that game out if you guys haven't already gotten it on your Vita. It plays similarly like 3 Down Stars and 3DS, which I should also mention it'll get future updates too. So what are you guys waiting for? If you guys want a new horde game to play, a survival one that is, then by all means this is for you.